I'm in the AM, and to my left is Humble Checkmate. I don't know.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah,
Excited for starting a Call of Duty podcast. Talk about everything the CDL.
absolutely. Yeah, this is a 2025 season. Of course, this is year 6, I believe, in the Call of Duty League, and we're just going to go over um, our overall thoughts on the season so far. And at the end of the episode, we will have our major predictions. But that being said, Hunter, what's your overall thoughts on the season so far?
Uh, well, before I start there, I just want to say I'm new to the CDL scene. I'm kind of, this is only my second year even being interested in it. So everything I say is, from the more new perspective, I guess. I've started playing Call of Duty again this year just for fun. But I'm really excited about, the CDL and whatnot. And I'll just go ahead and say I'm an Optic fan. So just prepare for the
It's
bias,
okay. They're everywhere.
because yeah, it's very real. When it comes to the season so far, it's been pretty good. I think it's been a interesting season. The only season I have to compare it to right now is Modern Warfare 3, and obviously Modern Warfare 3 was an amazing season because of how it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this season evolves, especially now that season 2 is starting in Black Ops 6. Hopefully we'll get some new maps. That's the biggest thing I think is we need new maps. We need more maps for our ranked play. So that's what I mean. Those are just some basic thoughts. What
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah. I'm really excited. I mean, of course, our favorite teams are, I would say, number 1 and 2 in the league right now. So that's always fun to watch. And just the parity in the league is amazing. Like we're
Oh yeah.
seeing some uh, teams that we thought would be like bottom 4 compete and even steal some wins versus the top 4 teams. But as far as season 2 goes, that's live in the game right now, right? Like I haven't
Yeah,
booted
it
up.
just went live today. I got it installed and whatnot.
Yeah. Have you
Uh,
tested out any rank play or anything on that?
I played one game,
Hmm.
so I ranked down to okay. Just so everyone knows, I'm only in gold. Okay, I suck at the game, but but I ranked down to gold 1, and I cooked. I mean, I dropped a 1.7 on them. No big deal. Whatever. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem very different. The biggest change for me is going to be that they added console only play. So
Hmm.
hopefully that'll even some things out as we continue playing some ranked.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So season 2 is here. I'm excited. Maybe the 2 new weapons we might see a meta change. I highly doubt it with the way that the pros have handled the new weapons in the past. But yeah. I think we should just go ahead and dive into it.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, so far, just to kind of recap what we've seen, right? We've gone through qualifiers. We've done 4 weeks or five. How many weeks has it been?
It's
5?
been two. It's been 4 weeks of
Two.
qualifiers and then a minor.
Yeah. Okay. So we've seen enough play to get a handle, at least, of where these teams are currently. And I mean, there could be some changes. We'll talk about those specifically when we get to those teams. But I think, yeah, so far it's been very competitive. We've seen tons of game fives compared to last year where it was, if you're playing a top 4 team, it's going to be a 3-0 or a 3-1 pretty much no matter what. And the other teams were just unwatchable. So this is a big step up in terms of that. So that's really nice to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And one of my favorite things that they added this year is the minors. Unfortunate name for it, but the mini tournament, the mini tournament in the middle of major. Unfortunately, it's only major 1 and 2. I would like to see in the future that be expanded upon and even like maybe rework some of the tournament like structure. But
Hmm.
I'm all for it. This year, 4 majors, which is I mean, we've had 4 in the past. Vanguard year was 4 major. But we're seeing a lot of Call of Duty, especially with these 2 minor tournaments. This is probably I haven't actually done the research on it, but I'm willing to say that this is probably the most COD we're going to watch over this season, including the EWC, which has been confirmed. So man,
Oh, okay.
I'm super excited for this, and the EWC is going to have 12 CDL teams, and they just announced this last week that there's going to be 4 challengers teams. The major winner for the major 4, which is DreamHack Dallas, which is
Mm.
also just announced this week. So the winner of that, and then um, the top 2 teams at Challengers Champs. But I don't know where that 4th team's coming in, but those are the 3 that I know for sure. So, all of them are
Hmm.
going to be competing in EWC, which is going to be the only pro amateur tournament this season. Unfortunately, I think we should see more of that hosted by the CDL in the coming years, because they did that back in Modern Warfare 2, and it was shocking, the program, mainly because it was 12 CDL teams and four challengers teams, and there were maybe 1 or 2 teams that upset a CDL team, I
Hmm.
think. But
Interesting.
yeah, it was an interesting format, and I really enjoyed it because it was a major one. The major was the Pro Am tournament, so you could have seen a challenger team actually compete in the major. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. There weren't that many upsets, but
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see more of that based on the announcements we got this week, where we'll have challengers at major. Was it 1 and 2 or 3 and 4? I don't remember exactly. We'll have challengers tournaments at majors this
yeah,
year.
major, yeah.
Um,
They'll be at major 2, 3, and 4.
okay, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. So I think we're gonna see more mixing. Not, I mean, obviously they're not gonna go crazy with it, but I think they're gonna start to introduce that a little bit. So that's, I mean, I think that's good for the scene. We don't get people who are in the league like. I'm not gonna name drop anyone, but we don't get people in the league who are here forever just because they are.
Yeah.
We get to see some new people come up and literally challenge their spots, which is what the whole point is. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's good. You want to go ahead and pick, or go ahead and start talking about the teams and just our
Yeah.
overall thoughts on them
We
this
should
season?
we should have I just thought of this. We should have had a pick 'em little wheel that
Oh
spins
yeah,
around and
yeah.
then talk about that team. I'm just gonna try and randomly choose a team. That one. Minnesota. Okay, good. I'm gonna talk about Minnesota. The Minnesota Rocker. I'll go ahead and say definitely my favorite team to watch other than Optic. Um, they're Game 5 merchants. I think them and Boston are both a huge percentage of their games go to Game 5. The thing I love about Minnesota, especially watching that minor, right? Game 1, they go down 0-2,
Hmm.
or match 1, they go down 0-2, and then they reverse sweep.
Yeah.
Second match, they go down 0-2, then they reverse sweep. Like, we get to see. I mean, it was just bonkers. I don't know what's going on now, right? We've been seeing these last 3 weeks, 2 weeks, where they have looked
Hmm.
not very good. They've been kind of peeing their pants, I think, at every opportunity, which I don't know if anyone understands that reference. Uh, it just means that they suck. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I still like to watch them. They're still fun to watch. Compared to some other teams, they're not. I guess there's no teams that are unfun to watch this year, but I don't know. There are some that I don't like, I guess. Um, so with Minnesota, you got Geo and Nero. I think those two right now are they're not a duo, but they almost feel like they're a duo. Maybe they are a duo. I don't know. How long have they been playing together? Do you know, Ashton?
What you said, Gio and Nero?
Uh
I
huh.
think this is their first year,
Oh, okay.
maybe.
Uh,
I'm not.
okay.
Then again, I'm not sure. Like
I
the
thought,
last few
were they not
years,
both on Las Vegas last year? Or am I tripping? I could be tripping,
maybe. I let
honestly.
me let me let me do some research. You keep talking.
Okay. Either way, the way that they're playing off each other, I really enjoy. I think Gio definitely needs to step up a little bit. But I think he deserves this spot. Nero, 100%. Estriel is one of the, I think, biggest surprises we've seen this year. His evolution from last year being on a team that was obviously not very good into this year, where he looks competitive with some of the best right now. So I really like them three. Now you get to Paul X. Paul X is a rube. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. Basically, he's a enigma, right? It's hard to understand him because sometimes, especially in like an S&D, he'll clutch up a 1v2 or something. But then you look at his control and he's like 0-7 or something to start off. I don't know. I think Paul X is one of those players that is on a spot watch as we go into Major One. If they 0-2 at Major One, they could be looking at a change. I think that's where I'm at with him. I still like him. I think he performs sometimes, but he's just not consistent enough for me to consider him a lock to go throughout the year. Yeah, that's kind of my basic thoughts about Minnesota. What do you think? I mean, do you agree with that or do you disagree? Do you
Oh
think
yeah,
Paul
yeah.
X?
No, I totally agree. I think the trio that we have with Gio, Nero, and Estro, they are disgusting. Nero, it's insane. Like if I was a betting man and like was on the prize picks, dude, I would always pick Nero over just because he is slaying insane. And I'm looking at the overall KD leaderboard, and I'm actually curious about Nero. Oh, he's actually not that high up there. But but man, he is gross. His engagements are insane. And um whenever the team's doing well, it's usually cuz Nero is popping off. Um but as far as Paul X goes, and you brought it up, and on that same kill death leaderboard, so there are 12 teams in the CDL, right?
Okay.
Each team has 4 players, which means there should be a total of 48 players on this leaderboard, correct?
Yeah.
Paul X has the 49th worst kill death ratio in
Oh
the league
gosh.
right now. But
Dang.
so yeah, I think if, like you said, if they end up getting double rounded, then Paul X is probably gonna look like he's the guy to go. Just looking at the stats wise, and but I mean, this team has shown promise. I mean, they were top 4 in the minor, and like you said, they had those first 2 games that were really insane. The 2 reverse sweeps. I can't remember
Oh yeah.
who
I
it
know the
was.
second one was Toronto. The first one was
Yes,
who was the first one?
I'm trying.
Surge. It was Surge, right? CDL. Let me just look it up.
But yeah. So they looked really good, and then unfortunately they fell to Phase. But they even brought Phase to map 5.
Mhm.
Unfortunate that Phase just bent them over and spanked them in that map 5. But
Yeah, just a little bit.
yeah, it was Gorillas, LAG.
Okay, yeah. Oh, LAG, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, like it looked like LAG's was gonna get that first win, and then Rocker just went on, you know,
mhm,
showed him who's who.
yeah. So I mean, Minnesota, they've got promise. I mean, they beat Breach, who is, I think, on the leaderboard right now, ranked top. I think they're ranked number 5 or number 3 or something outrageous. They're up there, which is a huge shock. We'll talk about them in a bit. But Rocker beat them, beat Gorillas twice, and then beat a what people can argue a top 4 team in Toronto Ultra. But
Mhm.
since that minor, they've lost to Phase, or since the minor, they've lost to Ultra, which was their rematch, and then they lost to
Mhm.
Phase, and then their last match this last weekend, they lost to Surge, which Surge hasn't been looking great. But I mean, that's just kind of unfortunate for them. But yeah,
Yeah.
Minnesota, they do have promise, and I think we'll just have to see after this major what the team's going to do um with their players.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at some stats and Estriel is a top 10 player in S&D right now, which I think is a big reason why they have that game 5. Like you don't want to
Oh
go to
yeah.
game 5 with them
Mm.
because of Estriel almost single-handedly. Um I mean, Geo and Nero both hang around like middle of the pack pretty much in every stat category. But Estriel's either, top 10, top 15 area. And then you have Paul X, which is not high on any category at all. So I don't know. Yeah, I think this team is in what's the word? Like they're hanging around, and Major One's going to reveal things about them. Um, and so we're going to see either a change here or Pollux is going to step up and I mean, I don't see this team winning by any means. I would say they have a very small percentage, but we'll see whether or not they perform well enough to consider keeping Paul X and using that. I mean, something to be said is you want to keep the same team, right? You want to have that
Mhm.
same synergies with your teammates, but if he can't perform, then they're gonna have to look for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, I mean, from these teams that we've seen, the only one that I know has shown that he could show up on land is Paul X, and he was on New York in the Vanguard season. It was teaming with Crim Six and a couple Kismet and Hydra. Yeah, yeah, he was on that team. They
Huh.
uh they they were looking like they were going to be eliminated from champs, and then they show up to their last major. Granted, it was a home major, and Paul X and the team was able to go from eliminated to placing second in the tournament and coming in with that 8 seed spot. So
Hmm.
I think if somebody needs to show up on this land, it will be him. And I
Yeah.
was also looking at their map 5, and you bringing up, you said Estro, right? And
Yeah.
S&D. So that is massive because these Minnesota's brought 7 of their 10 matches. That's 70% of their matches to a game 5. Unfortunately,
Mm.
they're 4-3, so of course that's 3 automatic losses. But yeah, they need that fire when it comes to search and destroy, and they have that tendency to show that they can win them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if Pollock steps up, or if we see someone else come in, and they can raise the bar, then Geo and Nero would step up to that bar, and then they would all perform at a higher level. I think that's what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait and see what happens at Major One with them, to really get a good grasp on them. Which I guess is true for every team, but I think this one is one of the 4 or 5 teams that I think definitely have something to prove at Major One.
Yeah, yeah. Um, is that
What team do you want to do next?
So I actually, you brought up spinning a wheel. I just went to Chat GPT. So
Oh,
next
okay.
team is Toronto Ultra. That's what the AI wants us to talk about. And
AI is taking over. Oh no.
yeah, but the first thing I want to say, like, they basically blew up the roster this last year. I mean, it was Scrap, Insight, Kleenex, and then
Envoy.
Envoy, yeah, and they were looking phenomenal. I mean, they stuck it out. I mean, 2 years ago, they were runners up at champs, and
Hmm.
then last year they looked very promising, but then they decided to drop Scrap and Envoy, and I mean, those are two massive players. I mean, both of those players went on to the Thieves, which are considered a super team on paper. And
Yeah.
the thing I can learn from that, and just Toronto has been freaking consistent throughout their entire existence in the Call of Duty League. So I can never count out the org,
Mm.
just because they have that chemistry, they have the facilities, and just the overall organization management from them is phenomenal. Because I mean, they brought in Beans and then Joe Deceives, two amazing players, and even with half the team being new, they're still doing phenomenal this season. I think,
Yeah.
what are they? What's their play stat right now?
They're 2 seed for Major
Yeah,
One.
yeah.
They're 6-1
Mm-hmm.
overall.
2 seed. They ended
Yeah.
up getting, of course, upset in the minor by Rocker, but um, man, they look good. I can never count out this org, and I haven't been to one of their events, but people have said it's the best event that's been thrown. So just
Mm.
those Toronto
Okay.
events. Yeah. You have anything you would like to say?
I mean, yeah. So I think definitely a highlight here is Beans. Like who? Well, first of all, Beans last year was on Boston, if I remember correctly, and
Mm-hmm.
was dropped.
Yeah.
Went to Challengers and played well there. I don't actually know how he did in Challengers. Was he on
Uh,
the winning team
I don't
or no?
watch challengers much. I'm
Yeah, I
getting
don't
into
know
that
either.
this season though.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I'm trying to find real quick whether Yeah, I don't know. But either way, this guy's been like not frying as as people typically say, but like he's hanging around the top people in the league right now, which I think is impressive.
Mm.
Also very surprising. And then you have Joe Deceives. Like, okay, let's start. Insight and Kleenex, they're their baseline. They're gonna play well. They're like super consistent.
Oh yeah.
They're probably the definition of consistency. And then you bring in two new players. Joe Deceives played really well for LAT. They were like skyrocketing in terms of standings last year at the end.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Even
they were not
runner up at EWC as well.
okay. Yeah, so like you can see, and a lot of that was because of Joe Deceives. Obviously, Ghosty was important there too. But like these two players coming into a whole new organization, new game, and I don't know. They've been. I did not expect much from this roster at the start of the season. But yeah, they've been doing well. And I say all that, and then they play Optic, and they get 3-1 pretty convincingly. I was very surprised that it was that like dominant of a
Mm-hmm.
victory. Optics control still sucks, and so like if their control was any good, I think it would have been a 3-0. But yeah, I don't. That was to me that is concerning a little bit because I expected a game five like easy, and actually I had Toronto winning because I was like in a game five scenario, Toronto's S&D has been lights out so far, but they dropped their first S&D, which pretty much instantly loses them the series. Uh, so I don't. I mean, all that to say, they're like I have good things about them. I think there's a lot of good, but then there's that match against Optic. I think is a warning signal. Hopefully that doesn't continue and they can fry again. Just go back to how they were doing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, yeah. And just going off of the map two count, the Toronto is 6-2 in their search and destroy map twos. When they won it, they are 5-1. So it's
Okay.
just yeah, they are real good at that map too. And I think in the major, yeah, major in the major qualifiers. So this isn't including the minor, but in the qualifiers, Toronto is 4-3 on map one. And whenever they come in um, winning map one, they are 3-1 in map two. And whenever they lose map one, they are 2-1. So obviously, like losing map one isn't a big deal for them. It's just
Mm,
they can fight back in that search and destroy.
yeah, yeah. I think something else to like talk about is just the protocol is like their map. I guess like they play that map a lot, and it seems like that's pretty much their go-to map too. If they have the pick, they go to protocol S&D, and I think they've run through pretty much everyone they've played on it.
They are
I don't
4
know
and
that
0 on
specifically.
protocol search and destroy.
Yeah, so like if I'm playing against Ultra, that's my veto on S&D every time right now. Um, I don't know. I just wanted to mention that because it's something I've seen. Yeah, they just kind of run through it. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
trying to look. However, I mean, I say they're 4-0, but they have gone to 2 game 5s on that protocol. And then let's see. But then yeah, they clapped Rocker on it. I think both times they played it. I'm trying to look. Nope.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, they so whenever they played Rocker in the major, they won 6-1, and whenever they played Rocker on the next match in the qualifier, they beat them 6-0. So,
Mm,
yeah, at least versus Rocker, they look insane on that map.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just a interesting tidbit because that last year I think the same thing similar happened with Skid Row, right? Toronto's like Skid Row was their map. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know that. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I think because with all the new map stuff and Scrap crying about them, people have been talking about how last year they lost Skid Row, just like this year Scrap lost Rewind, and so he's I don't know, he's a crybaby, so that's why I know that. Yeah.
I thought you liked Scrap.
Well, he's an interesting player. We'll
Yeah.
talk more about him when
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get
When we
there.
get there.
Who's up next?
Let's ask ChatGPT.
Who's ChatGPT got for us?
FaZe. Oh boy, oh boy. So the one
So,
note. Oh, you want to go ahead? You want to start it?
well, I was gonna say, because this is your team, I'm just gonna say the first thing about them.
Go for it.
All right. FaZe are trash. All right. They're like bottom. No, I'm just kidding. uh, so
I
yeah,
know,
I mean,
barely cracking winners bracket, bro.
it's so funny to me that they're the 7 seed, or is it right? They're the 7 seed. Or no, they're the 6 seed. They're the
Yeah,
6 seed.
6.
Yeah, poor Boston, man. That's gotta feel bad. You get the 3 seed, but then you have to play FaZe round one.
Yeah,
Um, FaZe
we'll talk about
obviously
that later.
are, yeah, looking hot right
Mhm.
now, and I think you could pretty much point it to one person, and it's got to be Celium, right?
100%.
Celium at the start of this season looked washed up. I was, and I talked to Ashton about this. I said, Ashton, Celium might need to go. Ashton was like, no, it's not gonna happen. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he went from bottom of the barrel to top 5 KD already as an AR, and AR
Yeah.
suck in this
Did
game.
you see his?
Um,
Sorry, I don't mean to
no, go
interrupt,
ahead.
but did you see his last 5 KDs?
Yeah, they're all like 1.4s or something.
Yeah, dude is insane. But go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's definitely the biggest thing. He stepped up. Draza has stepped up. I think obviously less so, but still stepped up. And then Symphony and BZ are just they're them too. So
Mhm.
like you don't have to say too much about them. They're gonna perform. And so yeah, like the first 2 weeks I was riding high. I was like, finally FaZe suck. It's gonna be awesome. And then they come in and destroy everyone in the minor and yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, they are
that's all I wanted
undefeated
to say.
since playing Falcons week 2.
Yeah. That's who did they play week 2? They played Toronto and Thieves week 1,
Yeah,
and then they lost to someone else in week 2.
they
Who was
got
it?
3-0'd by the Ravens.
The Ravens, which is
Yeah,
wild.
they got
That's insane.
100-point clubbed, and
Oh
then they
yeah.
lost 6-3 in the search and destroy. And then FaZe looks like they could have won the control, but they choked. Like they went up 2-0 in that control versus the
Oh, and they
Ravens, and
reversed.
yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, that might be the last time we see that happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think FaZe got 100-point club twice in the first 2 weeks, 100 by Thieves and maybe not. Well, was it Thieves? I don't know
Yeah,
who it was,
Thieves.
but
They it was a vault, and they lost it 250-77.
okay. Wow. That's not even close to 100. That's
Mhm.
wild. Man, those were good times watching those matches. Uh yeah, so that was the biggest thing I wanted to point out. I am the number one FaZe hater. So yeah, that was fun. But what do you want to tell? I mean, you can sing their praises all
I
you want,
mean,
I guess.
no. I mean, you said it pretty good. The only note that I wrote for them was pre-break. They were 0-3 to start the season, and it wasn't even like a close match.
Mhm.
0-3. I mean, yeah, you said 100-point club twice. And then somebody grabbed Celium by the ear and said, "Listen, you got a left stick. Please use it, brother." And then since then, dude, I this last weekend I saw Celium. I can't remember which map they were playing. I think it was versus Cloud9.
It's Vault. It was Vault.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. I
I know you're
mean,
talking about
they
S&D.
ended up losing, or I'm just talking about the hard point. They ended up losing
Oh,
the
okay.
map, but there was one point on P1 going into P2. Celium picked up the Jackal and then was just going insane.
Oh yeah.
So like,
Nice.
yeah, and he was actually their flex player in Cold War and Vanguard, so he can move. And it
Mhm.
was in champs in Cold War, where Celium basically won it when he was running with the sub.
Mhm.
On, I think I can't remember the map, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
Celium, he's
Uh,
definitely their MVP right now. And going into this major, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but in my opinion, they look like the team to beat.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I would definitely agree with that. I think the map I was referring to was of all S&D,
Mhm.
where it was a 1v3.
Yeah.
And Cloud9, and Cloud9 had bomb planted and everything, just set up on A, which is almost impossible. I don't know how you lose a 1v3, but he kills one guy's roaming, he kills that guy, and then he slides in, and one guy's looking towards like the drop in
It
from
was Mac. He was
mid.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah, and just destroys him. And then I don't know what the other guy's doing. He was just bunny hopping back and forth, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is wild.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's been something, uh, something to see with them. And yeah, I mean, I think especially the disappointment from Modern Warfare 3, where they were definitely the best team all year,
Mhm.
and then they drop out top 6 this year. Like we're seeing a reversal so far, and we'll see if that continues, where they start out awful, but then now they're obviously, I mean, yeah, once they are obviously the best team in the game, I think at this point. Um, I would take them,
That's coming
if it
from the
was
number
just,
one phase hater, guys, by the way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I want them to lose. Just to be clear to everyone out there, I want them to lose, but we'll see if they do.
Mhm.
Hopefully. Yeah,
Your bias only influences slightly.
yeah.
All right. Next up, Chat GPT says we're talking about Boston Breach. And I want to
Interesting.
clarify, like we have our points and our notes separate. I'm only talking about ChatGPT to tell us who we're talking about, not what we're talking about.
Hold on, let me Google what to say.
Yeah, hold
ChatGPT.
on. But so the thing I want to point out, looking from last year, Boston Breach, they only won like 4 matches on the season or something like that. It was
Wait,
insane.
what?
Like they were bad. Like
Oh
Priesta
my gosh.
has Gorillas won this. Yeah, Gorillas won.
Hmm.
Their only win is versus
Falcons.
Falcons. Yeah. So
Yeah.
up to that point, Priesta was on like he was on like a 22-24 game lose streak. Like that's how bad
Wow.
that Boston Breach was. And last year,
Mm,
the organization made some questionable decisions. I think Slasher was on the team, and then he
mhm.
got benched like after the first major, and then he's the number one Boston hater now. And he basically said that somebody, he wasn't naming names, but the community was very like determined that it was Snoopy he was talking about. They didn't know how to communicate, and this unnamed person just didn't know spawns or call outs.
Mm,
Since then, over the break, Boston's got Cammy, they got Snoopy, they brought in Big Wake, and they got Purge. This team looks like a shining turd now. Like last year they were awful, but now Snoopy and Cammy they're stepping up. I don't know exactly what Cammy is doing on like kill death, on his KDs and things like that, but Snoopy is 100% looking so much better. Just from last year to this year. 2 years ago, Boston brought Snoopy on because he had the talent, and they were hoping that this was just going to be the new Shotzi. And this year, I'm not going to say he's the new Shotzi right now. Probably will never say it, but he's living up to the hype that the Boston Breach has been
mhm.
waiting for.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely stepped up. Yeah, I'm looking at their roster last year, and there was what, one, two, three, 4 changes, like 4 different times where they changed people out, which obviously
Mm-hmm.
is not a successful, a winning strategy. Um, and I think, I mean, we'll talk about Priesthood when we get to lag mates. That's what I call them. But I don't think they paired well, I guess. I mean, I don't know. They had Beans too, which is kind of interesting. They
Mm-hmm.
have 2 players who are still in the CDL, and then Major Maniac, which I don't know. That guy's old. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Major Maniac's been around for a while.
yeah. But I mean, once since then, this roster has stepped up, and I mean, Purge is a newcomer, right? I don't know much about Purge. He's
He
new
was
though.
on Legion, I think,
Okay.
in Modern Warfare 2. I can't remember if he played in the league last year.
Well,
I
let me
remember
see.
hearing the name, but yeah, he's been around. But he is a young
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, it looks like he was on a Legion for 5 months. Um, I think this guy is going crazy right now. He's done some like obviously it hasn't translated to like I mean they're top 3 right now, but like I would still say they're middle of the pack kind of team. But this guy like every map I watch of them, he's very impactful. And if he's doing bad, the team's doing bad, and if he's doing good, the team's doing good. Like it kind of not that I mean Snoopy is the same way. Them two kind of gauge where the team is at. Because like I've seen, I don't remember exactly who they were playing, but I've seen Awakening go like double negative, and they win the map because of Snoopy and Purge. Um, so I don't know. I think Cammy, another player I'm not super intelligent on. I don't know much about, but he seems like they're kind of rock, like they're baseline kind of player, and then Snoopy and Purge are their guys who are they're lightning in a bottle kind of guys right now. So to me, they're kind of similar to Minnesota in that like they have 3 players who are performing well right now, and 1 player who needs to step up at Major One. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I agree. You made that comparison to Minnesota Rocker, and I actually just looked at another stat. I was thinking, man, this is very similar to them. And so Boston Breach has also forced a lot of game fives. Like they've
Yeah.
played a total of eight matches, and they've gone to game 5 6 of those times.
Mm,
So
okay. Well, yeah.
the
There you
comparison's
go.
definitely there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree. And as far as Cammy, so in Cold War, Cammy at the first part of the season, he was doing bad, but he accidentally tweeted something or said something on stream or something. It was a word that they use over
Oh,
in
yeah.
the UK,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
he went to sensitivity training for it. And since then, in Cold War, he was looking unstoppable.
Mm,
And for the years after, like in Vanguard, I mean Toronto kind of took a plummet, slight plummet, and
mm,
then in Modern Warfare 2, Cammy was dropped and then went to the Rocker, and since then everybody's been saying, man, maybe Cold War Cammy's coming back, and that's just been the talk. And unfortunately, I mean, we hindsight 2020, we see that Cammy just hasn't been a good player, and Cold War Cammy was a one-off. However, this year
mm.
he's looking like he could be back. Cold War Cammy might actually be here. We've been waiting like 4 years for it, but
Yeah.
we'll see how
He
the season
is
turns out.
he is terrible at S&D, just FYI.
Okay,
He's rocking a .75 currently in terms of KD. He is ranked 48th. Uh, who guess? You know what? I'll give you one guess, or I'll give you 2 guesses. I don't know. Guess how many times you want. As to the player who is 49th below Cammy right now in S&D.
it's not Paul X, is it?
Nope.
Uh,
It
I
is
don't know.
Hydra.
Hydra.
49th,
Oh
0.74
my
KD.
gosh. You know, I'm gonna make a
That is
note of that so we could come back to them
wild.
when we talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. Um, yeah. I didn't watch it during Cold War, so I don't know what Cammy looked like then. And I mean, there's still definitely things that this team needs to work on and improve, but they're competitive right now with everybody. And they get reverse swept by Thieves, or did they win? No, they almost got reverse swept. That's right. They went up 2-0
Yeah.
convincingly,
Mm-hmm.
lost to convincingly, and then the S&D was I think a back and forth, but oh man, that match was awful because of that stupid delay. It was like 40 minutes
Oh
between game
yeah.
2 and 3 on that S&D. Uh, yeah, it was. Hopefully, the LAN looks good
Mhm.
whenever they play it. But from what I understand, the Kason tournament at the beginning of the year was like even worse. There was like even more lobby mess ups.
Oh yeah. That was literally like within the first like week or two the game came out though.
Yeah.
So I
So
mean, of
hopefully
course,
that won't.
yeah, servers were looking horrendous, but yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see whether or not Boston step up. I mean, I guess we'll talk about the bracket when we get there.
Yeah.
So they're screwed. I'm just kidding. But okay, who's up next?
Carolina Ravens Royal
Okay.
Ravens, which is
The
a
Royal Ravens.
rebrand that they should have changed the Royal Ravens to, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Okay. Do you want to go, or do you want me to talk about them?
Yeah, I can start.
Okay, yeah.
How the frick is this team a top 4 team? Like, like I mean, looking in the year in their team, Gwyn, of course, last year he was great. He was rookie. I think he was rookie of the year. TJ Halley has been a, a player that exists over the last few years. Vivid as unfortunate. He's catching the short stick the last few years, and Slasher, of
Short end of
course.
the stick.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Short end of the stick. And Slasher last year, he was dropped, which in a very questionable roster change. This team, I don't know what the crumble cookie lineup looks like this year for TJ to be shooting like this. And Slasher looks great. Vivid, I'm just going to say it now. He's probably my favorite player only because he might have accidentally followed me on Twitter. I went back to check if he still does. He doesn't, but he was following me for like a week there.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's funny.
But yeah, this team they definitely have promise. Of course right now they look like they're on the downhill of the roller coaster just their
Hmm.
last few matches, but opening the
Yeah.
season they went into the minor number 1 seed. This
Hmm.
team is a huge surprise. I mean they beat Falcons, of course, everybody does. Gorillas, of course, everybody besides the Falcon does. They 3-0'd FaZe, and then they beat Cloud9. And then in the minor, they beat Cloud9, and then they upset Optic in that was round 2, I think.
Hmm.
Um, and then they made it to the finals and lost to FaZe. So, uh, yeah, this team looks good. But since the minor, they've lost to Breach, who we just talked about, who are looking pretty good. They lost to Surge, who we'll talk about in a bit,
Hmm.
but they don't. Surge isn't looking good. And then they were lucky enough to get a reverse sweep versus the Heretics. So they look like they're stabilizing right now, but for the first part of the season, they definitely look like they have promise going into it. And with this team, especially with Slasher and TJ, these guys have been around forever. Like they were playing on Hacienda in Black Ops 4. So
Yeah.
um, I think
TJ was
going,
on Optic, right, with Dashy. I think they were
yeah,
teammates.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, going into this LAN, I think this is where they can actually turn up. Like they have the Lanimals on the team, and
Mm.
they are definitely going to be a team that we could watch. And I think I'd probably put them as my dark horse right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Looking at just overall KD stats, not looking at individual games, you got Gwen, who's seventh, right? Obviously, slang out there doing his thing. You have Slasher and TJ are 21, 20, and 21. So they're both very, solid middle
Mm-hmm.
to upper, slightly above middle. And then you have Vivid, who's 40th, who's like it's still better than a bunch of players, which half of these players are just the Falcons players. But um, Vivid, I think, is the one player who like they're in a similar situation with who was the other team we talked about who's could make a change. That was Minnesota, right? They're
Yeah.
similar to Minnesota in that they have this one player who like their spot in the CDL could hinge on Major One, but different than Minnesota. All three of the rest of the players are consistent or better, whereas Minnesota has a little more fluctuation. They're not as consistent. So if Vivid either steps up or gets dropped, and this team finds another player who is that consistency level, I think this is going to be a lock for a top five team. Maybe even top four if Thieves don't figure out what the heck they're doing. So like I don't know, this team. I'm still high on this team, and I've been watching some more Modern Warfare 3 stuff. And like I just watched a match today. It was from Major 2 qualifiers. So it's just a random. I don't know why I had it on, but it was Optic versus Ravens, and Optic 3-0'd them because that's just how it was last year. But Gwyn, like every time the map would be looking like completely over, Gwyn would drop a 3-piece. And then they would, they'd bring the control back or they would take the hard point or whatever. So like he is definitely enough to build around. And I think Slasher and TJ, especially like Slasher started out the season like frying, just absolutely gutting people. And TJ obviously is fine. He's okay. And then you have that fourth player. If that's the right person, right? And it could be Vivid. We'll see. I don't think it is, but could be. This team is going to be hard to beat. Yeah, especially in the response. I think S&D is weaker. That's just a general idea. I don't know if that's true, but yeah. Let me look. Actually, I want to see. Gwyn, where are you?
And while you do
Oh,
that, I was looking at. I do kind of want to push back against that Vivid drop, just real short, because
mm-hmm.
last year there was a team unfortunate enough to drop Vivid, and I know this might be a little biased because he followed me for a week, but so with Vivid on Minnesota Rocker last year, they looked middle of the pack online, um, but definitely like they could have made champs. And then even Major 1 with Vivid on the roster, they ended up getting a top 4 seed or a top 4 finish.
Yeah.
And then Major 2, they ended up going out 7th, 8th. But their qualifier standings were still well, Major 2 they looked pretty bad, but Major 1 they looked good, and then they dropped Vivid, and then they just plummeted. Like I think I'm looking, they've only got 2. Yeah, after dropping Vivid halfway through the season, they only got 4 more wins on the season.
Dang.
So
Yeah, that's pretty.
while his KD doesn't look good, I do think he actually brings something to the team and communication and leadership.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. But then again, if you look at, I mean, now I'm looking at S&D stats because I wanted to see. Vivid is 51st in the league.
Oh, dang. Okay. Also,
Whereas,
hear me out.
okay.
He is an SMG player who's running an AR.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, which TJ is number 8 in S&D KD right now, which is kind of crazy.
Okay.
So he's out there doing his thing. I don't know. I think they're probably gonna make a change if I had to guess, but we'll see. We'll see what they do, and maybe if they make that change, they just plummet straight to number 12. I doubt that because this
Well,
league contains the Falcons.
yeah, the Falcons and the Gentle Mates, Gorillas Mates.
Yeah, gentle gorillas lag mates.
Yes, you know.
Mm. Yep. Who's up next? I need to.
Chat GPT says Florida Mutineers, which isn't a team anymore. So we're
Well,
gonna say
Havoc is not in the league, so we're
yeah,
not
we're
talking
gonna
about that.
say Miami Heretics.
Okay. Miami Heretics. I don't have anything to say about this team. I
Um,
don't like this
the
team.
only
This
thing,
team
and
is
we'll
bad.
actually. Oh, were you actually going to say something?
No. I just blah.
Okay. So, yeah. I'm actually. Would you be all right with grouping Miami and Vegas together? Because I think they
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
they're
suffer
bottom of the
from
barrel right now. Sure.
they kind of
What you
suffer
mean?
from the same thing. Miami,
Oh yeah.
um, regional shtick. It's just not working. They got 4 Spanish players, and then after the major, I don't know if you saw, but Super a few weeks back, he tweeted out that he got his visa approved. So, I mean, if I'm somebody on Miami right now, I know I've got my replacement on the bench, just waiting for the plane ride back from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sitting, they're gone. So morale's definitely got to be shot, but also the Spanish COD. I mean, I watch a lot of like Breaking Point, their podcast, with Technical Rab, Ace, and Trey. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know who. Do you know those guys?
I mean, I know tactical rap.
Yeah. You
Very
just
much in twinge of your thoughts.
okay. But so they've got a podcast, and Trey, he's a former pro who used to play for the Ravens. He was even on Fades in Black Ops 4. But he said whenever he was playing in Europe, uh, those Spanish players, they just run and gun, and you live and die by it. So you could look really good, which there have been some matches where Miami looks very promising, but of course, you get a 3-0 whenever they have to slow down and go to map 5, they end up losing. Like I'm looking at map 5, just give me a second. Like, so whenever you need to slow down in a map 5, to come and get away with the win, they are 1-5 in map 5.
Sounds right. I mean, their S&D sucks. They're like, I think
Yeah.
one of the worst S&D teams, probably worse than Falcons,
Yeah.
if I had to guess. Because yeah, they don't slow down.
Yeah.
Like they actually just don't. Like this is a fast game. This is I think from what I understand, the fastest Call of Duty that's been
Oh yeah.
made. I mean, that
100%
could
with the
be.
omni
Yeah,
movement,
it
the
is.
small maps. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like it's built for that, but obviously, in a map 5, you need to think through what you're doing, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that very
Mm-hmm.
well. Yeah, so they suck at S&D, and they choked up uh, Carolina Ravens. They choked a 2-0 against them. So I don't even know. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the same breath, you have Falcons who, I mean, everybody. It's funny. Everyone loves the Falcons. Like they always, the streams with Shotzi and Dashi, and they're like trying to learn Arabic and talk to them, and even like I've seen them playing a lot of eights and
Oh
other
yeah.
stuff. They're just not. They're not the level. Like it's a challengers team who is in the league. Like that's what happened basically. Um, and I think challengers they were pretty competitive.
Mm.
I don't know
Yeah, they
much about
they
it, obviously.
won
The EWC.
not the EWC, but they
Oh, okay.
qualified for that based on their tournament placing. Of course, it was like a regional tournament, so
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
in order to place there.
But yeah, and like the team is a revolving door. I mean, there's like the roster has
Mm.
already changed like 6 times or something. Um, they've got what the bottom 3 players in the league are they Dehum, Roxas, Kingabody, which Kingabody's not on the team anymore. Roxas is probably the next one to go. And Dehum, I mean, I don't know, whatever. And then you have King, who's not to be confused with Kingabody, which I don't know who. They should just tell that guy to change his name, I think. But he's not been. He's been okay at best. And then you have Xnid and Kix, who look really good sometimes, especially Kix. Kix came in and was like, he's technically got the second best KD in the league right now, but he's only played like 2 or 3 matches or something. So like they have some players, but they're just not going to be consistent until they, finalize a roster, and it doesn't seem like that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah.
Yeah. So I think if anything, just I think it'd be cool, of course, to have representation from these regions in the league, with the
Mm-hmm.
Vegas Falcons being a Saudi Arabian organization, and then the Miami Heretics being Spanish. I think having that representation is cool. However, it's coming at a cost of the league and your own team and your own representation, because I think, I mean, for Vegas and Miami both, they have some shooters on that team. It's just um you know the teamwork's not there, and it's really showing
Yeah.
versus the top talent in the world. And unfortunately, Miami does obviously look better than Vegas, but Vegas especially, I think you hit the nail on the head. They are a challengers team competing with the best in the world, and we're seeing exactly what's going on. I mean, they haven't made it past a round or a map 4. They are winless in hardpoint.
Yeah, they're 0-12 in hardpoint.
0-12, yeah, and their search and destroy, which is their best mode, they are 3-5.
Mm.
And their second best control, they are 1-7, and that one win came from pre-minor phase on,
Yeah.
which is control is phases, I think phases worst game mode. So like, yeah, it's their worst game mode, and so
Yeah.
if this team can get good, their S&D can be serviceable.
Yeah.
So I think they need to build off that and focus in on control before they. I mean, of course, I'd love to see them get better at hardpoint, but I mean, if you could steal a search and destroy or win the search and destroy and then steal the control, that guarantees you a map 5. And you guys look okay at S&D, so that map
Yeah.
5 could be a toss up.
I mean, the funny thing is, we saw them go up 97-0 on Optic on Vault.
Yeah.
I don't. That was at the minor, right? Or was it before? I
Was
don't
it
know.
minor?
Whatever.
Yeah, I know
And
what you're
then they
talking
just
about.
choked it. And then they did the
Mm.
same thing against Gorillas. I think. Uh, like
Oh
they
yeah, yeah.
just. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
They come out hot and then they just get
It
pooped on the rest of
was
the map. So
that was
blow
it
the roster up.
Skyline? Was it a Skyline versus
Yeah.
Optic?
No, it was Vault versus Optic. I know that for a fact because I
Okay.
was tweaking. I was tweaking. All right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
At the minor, they Optic won it 250 to 244.
yeah,
Yeah, there was
which
a
that's wild that it even got that close.
yeah.
But whoever loses to them in hardpoint first is going to be the laughing stock of the CDL. I can't wait for those tweets. That's gonna, Scrap's going to say something, unless it's obviously Thieves, which would be hilarious. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. Falcons. I mean, they're passionate. That's what I'll say about them. You listen to their comms. Oh my gosh, they are yelling, and I love that.
Mm.
That makes me so happy.
Yes, however, that can be hectic.
Well, yeah, it's hectic. It is hectic, but it's just I just like to see the pure passion and the want. They have the want. That's for sure.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to make a note of which teams we've talked about so far.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, nice. We
okay.
talked about Atlanta already. Also,
Oh
I
yeah.
wanted to just go back to Atlanta real quick,
Mm-hmm.
because of, and I mean, this is we need to. I don't know. Maybe we need to have a video of this, but Simps 1v4 saved their season, I
Oh yeah,
believe,
dude.
versus Heretics.
I
Uh,
wouldn't go that far, but I mean, it definitely sparked some fire because even after that 1v4, they ended up losing like the following 2 rounds or something. But
mhm. Yeah. So I just had to mention that because it
mm,
was probably the play of the year.
yeah.
We'll see what else
And I'm
happens.
actually curious.
Slashers, was
Go
it
ahead.
versus? No, I was thinking it was actually Cloud9. Somebody threw a nade and blew up 3 phase people. I
Yeah,
don't remember
I
what.
can't remember who it was, but
Attach maybe. It could. I think it was Attach.
yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
It was just a
Because it's
cross
Cloud
map
Nine.
like
Yeah.
random thing, but that
Mm-hmm.
was hilarious. Um, okay, yeah. So we've got what, 5 more teams?
Yeah. And I mean, we could just speed run the last few because we've already been going for an hour. We still got major predictions.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I definitely want to talk about Vanguard, or not Vanguard,
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. Do you want to start with a different team and then
No, no,
I'll go
no.
with
I'll
Vancouver?
let you take Vancouver, and then I'll pick another team to talk. I'll talk about somebody else next.
Okay. So just what you've been saying. This sounds like you don't think highly of this team. I think this team is scrappy. This is like the definition of scrap to me. Not the player, but like this is like I don't know. I think they have some serious promise with this, and they've the last two or three matches they played, they've looked very competitive, and they've clutched up in game fives. Like we've been seeing some really good play. 0-4 in the SNDs has been, he's been performing really well there. Obviously, Nasty and Hixie aren't like two of the best players in the league, but I think they're rising, and Abuza is a great AR. This game doesn't service ARs very well. But I think I don't know. I think this team is rising. They're living up to their name. They're surging right now. And I think they could be like at least the top 6 team for the year. Uh, I don't know. I really like watching this team. It feels fun to watch them. That's what I just wanted to say that because I think you've been hating on them a little
I
during
mean,
this.
yeah. I mean, I think I hate the Surge organization, but the team they have
Oh,
together is pretty good. I mean, 04, I think Parasite or somebody said it on the flank that 04 is definitely going to be on a top 4 team next year. Um,
Hmm.
or not Seattle, Vancouver is going to build around him because he has been nasty the last few weeks, and he's definitely shown promise, like the potential, because he was, I think last year was his rookie year, right?
I'm sure you're asking the wrong person. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean you watched part of last year, so but yeah,
Yeah.
he looked. I think last year was his rookie year, and this year I'd probably say he's definitely the star on the team right now.
Yeah. I mean, I still think Abuza is like worth building around. Like them two
Mm.
together, I think are pretty good. Um, and then I don't know. Hixie apparently, I don't know much about him, but he's like a big talker, on Twitter and whatnot. So I don't know if he's really lived up to that, but
Mm.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
funny.
Mm. All right. My team I want to talk about is the Gorillas mates, lag mates. What do you call them?
I call him French, Los Angeles Gorillas Lag Gentle Mates.
Yeah. So
Fix the name.
some long names. Yeah. Unfortunately, I do think that was due to Gentle Mates buying the Gorillas like weeks before the season start. But
Yeah.
this is a team. I know we talked about it. Oops. Um, earlier in the season, I definitely expected more from them. Like I told you, I
Hmm.
expected like this. This is a championship team right here, with a trio:
Yep.
Skies, Kismet, Priesta, who all won a ring together on New York. And then I think, I think one thing that they did was they just decided to grab the next French submachine player
Hmm.
and said, "All right, screw Hydra. We got Linz. I mean, they're basically the same." So, um, yeah, they're just not looking good. I definitely expected more, and I think this team is definitely. I think you wrote that in the blow it up watch. Um,
Yeah. 1 second.
okay. Um, cool. We are just sitting here.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
You're good. Yeah. So just a blow it up watch. I definitely think that they're there, and you wrote that in, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is the one team that I could see
Yeah.
absolutely just.
So my question to you, real quick, who would be the player that you build around on this team? Of course,
Uh,
Priest is
I don't
gone.
know if I'd build around any player on the team,
Really?
honestly. Like, I think Skies and Kismet are going to stay in the league. I
Mm-hmm.
could see them, and I don't know how this usually works, but I could see them going to a different team, um, like Paul X. You could upgrade Minnesota, take Skies or Kismet, boom, plug them in. Same thing with Vanguard, or I keep saying Vanguard, Vancouver,
Yeah, I got you.
um, or C9. Like, I don't know. I think there's better places these players can go. Lynn's like he's supposed to be. I don't know. The way that people talk about him, he's supposed to be generational, but he just seems kind of average to me.
I mean, he is
Uh,
number 12th in KD.
okay. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I just think I don't know what this team does, but they definitely are terrible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, you basically said it. Like, they need an identity. Like,
Hmm.
Hardpoint, they're 5-9. S&D, they're 4-7. Oh, their identity's control. Sorry, I meant to write that in, but I didn't. And unfortunately, their identity is the game mode that's one of five uh,
Yeah.
maps that you play. So I mean, they're good at control. It's just
Okay.
they need to, you know, focus on the other two game modes that you could potentially play two times.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. If they get, I mean, yeah, if they can stay consistent in control and then pick up another game mode, then maybe that could be a winning strategy. Just like chalk up whatever hardpoint or S&D, whichever one you want. Um, seems like this seems like a better hardpoint team than an S&D team to me. Obviously, Skies is like I don't know. The Skies is an S&D player. That's how I think about him. And then the other three I would probably service more towards hardpoint. If I would had to just give a guess as to what they would do better at.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I don't know.
agree. I understand like what you're saying about Skies because he is He's definitely been the slowest player on this trio the
Mhm.
last couple of years. So
Yeah, maybe just Skies needs to go to Celium school for a bit and learn to left stick it up. Yeah. I'll I'll take over. Talk about New York. New York is the other team to me that's on blow up watch. Uh, Most surprising is Sib. What the heck is happening with Sib? Dude is selling the team right now. New York decided that they wanted to build around him rather than keep Skies and Kismet. Or I don't know how that went down. I don't know if Skies and Kismet like were gone either way or what. That was a weird like before the season because like Sid was like, okay, I'm gone, but then he's not gone. I don't know.
mm,
But this dude's been absolutely dog water at the game. He's trying to snake to get advantages. Just and I like Sib. I like Sib a lot actually. He's like because I'm not a person who loves the whole flashy, like I'm better than you. You're like scrap. Yeah, like when they stand up at a major and they just say the same things over and over. Sib doesn't really do that, so I kind of respect that. Um, but he should at least win. It's cooler whenever you win and don't talk than lose and don't talk. I mean, Mac's been frying, but I don't know. This team is just yeah. And then they were competitive with FaZe, which was super
mhm.
weird. They took FaZe to Game 5 and just I don't know. This team's weird. I honestly don't know what to think about this team yet.
Yeah, and I watched the flank breakdown, the that 1v3 by Celium, and it was basically came down to, of course, Celium gets the free one up top.
Hmm.
But then since at that point, both players down in the vault, you know exactly where he's coming from. You just hold irons. Like, and of course, Mac, he was looking towards the middle, towards the drop down. And then I can't remember who the other player in that 1v3 was looking towards pool.
Um, yeah.
And as soon as the Celium starts shooting at from pool, Mac was still like looking at vault with
Hmm.
15 seconds on the clock as if Celium could
Yeah.
run around, drop down, get 2 kills, and defuse and start defusing in 7 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
so that was just a brain dead play by Mac. So I don't know if that's a communication thing or just a brain fart moment. But
Yeah. I mean, I think that's got to be just a brain fart. Like, that's a 1 in 100 kind of mistake.
mm,
I don't know. And maybe that's just NY's identity is brain dead
yeah.
moments. But, I mean, Sib up top, like, why are you even chowing up there? Because I think he was on top, he was on Cat, and Celium was on, like, P2 vault or some. I think that was kind of the situation. And why is Sib up there? Just get in the vault. If y'all, I don't know. I just whatever. It was annoying to watch. So New York is questionable right now at
Yeah.
best. I think they're what 10th in rankings or like seeding wise.
Let me see. I've got it. They are 11th.
Okay, well there you go. So they got lots to figure out.
Yeah. And I know we got two more teams left to talk about, and I feel like we both want to talk about each of them. So,
I
um,
mean, I want you to talk about Texas. I want to hear you talk about
you want
Optic.
to hear me talk about Optic? Okay. I
Yeah.
will talk about Optic, trying to be as unbiased as possible. They're going out top 12, losing to Vegas, giving them their first win in the year, getting 3 0'd by the Vegas Legion, or no, 3-1 by the Vegas Legion. You heard it here. They're getting not one, but two hardpoint wins versus
Vegas
Optic
Legion
Texas.
don't exist.
You know what I mean, like Falcons.
No.
But anyway, no, all serious though. I think Optic is, if it's not FaZe, then Optic's definitely looking unstoppable. I mean, they had that roster change midway through the season. Of course, Pred had to leave for personal reasons. Um,
It wasn't midway. It was after week 1,
sorry,
right?
midway. My bad. Midway through the major. That was
Hmm.
after week. Oh, that was after week 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, Pred only played 2 matches,
Yeah.
so he was there for week 1, and
Yeah.
that's it.
So even at that point, we couldn't have a lot of like to talk about on Optic during that time, just
Hmm.
because who they play the first two, it was Breach and
Boston,
Cloud9.
yep.
Yeah, they lost to Boston, which they were upset by Boston, which was a lot of eyebrows being raised at that. And
Yeah,
then
that was crazy.
but then they came back and they put belt to booty on Cloud9. So questions
With
answered.
with cheese on
Oh
the
yeah, that's also
online
true.
stuff,
That's also true.
whatever.
So
Stupid.
yeah, so at
Uh,
that point we didn't know what was going on, and then Pred announced stepping away for personal reasons. Hook comes on, and brother, I know I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but Hook in this game on Optic, this is probably like leaps and bounds better than anything Optic would have done with Pred. Like I'm just
mm,
gonna say that
yeah.
because
No, I agree.
they look phenomenal in every mode. They're above 50% win. Um, of course, you mentioned earlier their control needs to be better. Um,
Hmm.
but honestly, looking at it, they're 5-2 in Vault, which has been the only map that's been played up until this last like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And they're 1-1 on Hacienda after playing. Who'd they play on Hacienda?
They play
Thieves
Thieves.
and Falcons. And they lost to Thieves 3-1, and then they went to round 5 versus Falcons. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that Hacienda definitely looks questionable. And the
Hmm.
Protocol, they're 0-1. And they played. Who'd they play on Protocol?
Mm, I don't
It
remember
must have been a while ago. One moment.
Protocol. Definitely wasn't.
It was Breach. They were 3-0'd in
Really?
the minor. My Breach
Oh, in
on
the minor. Okay.
on
Yeah.
Protocol. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
I mean Vault, they look fine. It's just, I mean, you could veto Vault, but the team you're playing has a choice versus two of your bad maps. So
hmm,
yeah, I mean, I agree. So their map pool on Control definitely needs to be picked up.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually, I'll ask you, Hook and Shotzi or Simp and Abizi? Actually, right now, Atlanta. Uh, just take away team synergies. Like, forget about that. All right. Just think about like pure player. Would you trade Simp and Abizi for Hook and Shotzi right now?
Just straight up, not thinking about team chemistry.
Yeah, nothing team chemistry. Don't think about any of that.
No,
What?
I what
Weird
I do
trade.
think, um, it would depend because if you take away team chemistry, I mean, obviously, if it's a 2v2,
Yeah, let's
and
just do that. Actually, let's just do that. It's
yeah,
a two v
yeah,
two.
if it's a 2v2 on like freaking, I don't know, Skyline,
Nuketown, whatever. Skyline, sure.
yeah, Skyline Hardpoint, then I'd I'd probably take Optic mainly because they are chaotic and yeah. Um, I overall though, I think with the teams, the way that the teams are, I think I wouldn't make a trade in the world. It's just different play styles, and
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Hook and Shotzi are rocking the number one and two KDs in the league right now. So I'm happy with where we're at. Uh, yeah, I mean, well, the only question here is Hook going to perform on land, and I think he will this game.
you think,
So
yeah,
yeah, and I obviously, and Kenny gets better on land. Kenny's been the one player who's kind of struggling on Optic, and he definitely gets better on land.
oh yeah,
Like we know that. That's
yeah.
historical. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do at the
You
major.
actually got me a little bit curious. Let me find. I wonder what Hook. Uh, I'm so confused when trying to like say his name sometimes, but
Yeah.
let's see. I'm trying to look at his land placings in the.
Yeah. Well, I think he's only won one with Gorillas and
Oh yeah, that was
the.
versus FaZe when FaZe couldn't win in Vanguard, right?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I watched a video about Hook the other day, so that's why I know that.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
so in the last, I'm just looking at Modern Warfare 3. Granted, he was on Seattle, which
Yeah.
again, I hate that
No chemistry,
organization. Yeah.
and
So
yeah.
they actually placed third and fourth, 3-4 because it was a single limb at EWC. Um, and then last at champs, fifth and sixth, major four. and then fifth, sixth, major three. Uh, major two, last major, last major two, fifth, sixth, major one. So I mean, like he's definitely, at least last year, he was middle of the road. And
Yeah.
on Optic and Modern Warfare 2, um, fifth, six, that was in champs. Last
Mm,
place, major five, um, major four,
yikes.
second. So I mean, on Optic, he looks like he could be carried, unfortunately. But yeah, last year his plays on land were just brain dead. But we'll see. We'll see with this organization, this coaching staff. I think he could be good on land. It's just he's the only question mark that I see on this team going into this major.
And I mean, one last thing just to say about him, like this last match they played, they actually had him running an AR and Kenny running an SMG on some points.
Oh wow.
I think they were just testing like
Mm-hmm.
when they get to the major, Hook's not performing as well. I think they make that switch and tell him play slower, play smarter, and let Kenny go out because Kenny is obviously an amazing SMG as well. So I think that was what they were doing a little bit. Um, so I think they have fallback plans as well, which I think is smart. Um, yeah.
All right.
Last team, the
Ooh,
super
the
team.
super team that
Uh,
is
yeah, I don't know.
you know, middle of the pack.
Yeah. First thing I want to say about LAT, all right? Their intro sucks. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Out of all the intros, theirs is like the most trying to hardest of the intros. Um, I hate their intro. I hate watching it every time. If we, I think we should do an intro ranking tier list or whatever, ranking or tier list on the channel. By the way, at some point. But yeah, I think LAT is one of the more surprising teams, and in a bad way, that they have just not looked near as good as they should be looking. Um, just breaking down their players, right? You have Scrap and Envoy coming from Toronto, who were a top three in MW3, right? They lost to Subliners and Losers finals, I
Mm.
think, right? Is that correct? Or was it Thieves? I can't remember
EWC.
now. No, at Champs. I didn't watch the rest of the EWC after Optic lost.
Of course you didn't. Fake fan.
Yeah.
Let's see. At champs, Toronto, they lost to Subliners in elimination finals at champs.
Okay. Yeah. So like they were a very good player. I mean, they won a chip. They won Major One, right? Or was it Major Two? I think it was Major One. Yeah, Major One. They won. Um, they Scrap is one of the best ARs in the game. I think one of the best S&D players right now. I'm not 100% sure. Um, but anyways, you got him. Then you got him and Envoy. Envoy's a proven winner, just across the board. And then you have Hydra, who is the best. I mean, at least top 2 or 3 SMG last year. Um, Nearly won champs with the repeat subliners,
Mhm.
and this game looks like just a middle of the pack player at best, actually. So I don't know what's going on there. And then you got Ghosty, who's like the mastermind. I don't know if Ghosty has a title, but if he had one, I would call him the mastermind or Harry Potter based off his glasses from his last match.
Nah, Harry
Um,
Potter's taken.
yeah.
I
Who's
can't
Harry
remember.
Potter?
There was, I think it. Who was it? Who was it? Oh, Dave Patty. He was on Miami Heretics, or no, not Miami. Florida Mutineers in Vanguard, and he was the optic kryptonite.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
So, anyways, what should be, a 7-0 team almost easy is what are they at? 5-2?
they are at include. Well, let me see. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. They are 5-3, including the minor.
Yeah, including the minor. So like they're fine. And the minor they got bounced by FaZe early, which FaZe are well, we've already said it, top 2 team in the league right now. So like I guess you can't hate that much on that loss,
Yeah.
although they didn't look competitive with FaZe when they were playing them, really. It was just kind of They just looked passive. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like this team is not performing right. I love watching Nate Shot's little videos after every loss.
Yeah.
They're so funny. Slowly degrading and like becoming less patient. And then like it seems like from the outside, him and Scrap aren't like on, they're not the best partners. They don't think about things the same way. So I don't know. This team's got some issues. We'll see if they can turn it up. But what do you have to say about them?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, of course, this is a super team. We're supposed to be expecting more. Like, I even think I've heard rumors. I don't know if it's true, but like, that Nade Shot even took a paid cut to get this roster.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so obviously, I mean, they're 5-2, and so not including the minor. Um, so they're still performing pretty well, but over the last 2 weeks, they are the last 2 weeks they are 1-2 with their only win coming in a game 5 versus Miami Heretics.
Yeah, which should not be happening.
Mm.
Like you should be 3-0ing
Yep,
Miami Heretics.
and that
That's
massive choke versus Optic. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, what a
yeah, their S&D
beautiful.
just doesn't look good. And we mentioned earlier, Hydra's S&D just looks absolutely brain dead.
hmm
Like what's his placing in Search and Destroy, Katie? Do you have that up?
I don't have it, but I think it was 49th. Let me pull it back up real quick. I should be able to get it.
Yeah, he's 49th
Uh,
at a
yeah,
.74.
Scrap is number one, by the way,
Yeah.
and Search and Destroy
So
KD, which is crazy.
I mean, does it balance them out? No. Mainly because okay, let me look at Hydra's his first bloods. He has 16 first bloods, which is the 15th. However, he has 22 first deaths, which is the
Mm.
6th. So
Yeah,
his percentage just doesn't look good in
yeah.
this team.
And right now, like with the maps we have, other than I think Red Card, right? We've got Vault, Skyline. What else do we have? S&D,
Vault, Skyline.
Protocol. Which
We
protocol? I
got
haven't seen that much
Protocol.
Protocol S&D, which is kind of
Thieves
weird.
have only played one Protocol.
Okay. Well, either way, two of the S&Ds, Skyline and Vault, like first bloods matter so much in those, just
Mm-hmm.
because like retake those maps are real easy to just play your trades, like, and they're just super like bang bang boom boom bah, like that's how the map can go, just trade 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 trade, and if you get that first blood, the trades are all easier. um and like red card you can get lost in, so like first blood can matter a lot less. Now obviously first blood is always going to be important, but I don't know, I just think Hydra sprinting around on vault isn't going to be as effective.
Yeah.
um he needs to watch some optic vid, I think, VOD. Um, learn from the best. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how they perform at major. Do you think is there any possibility of a roster change if major they just fall out?
No,
If they lose to Falcons,
no,
is there a roster
no. I
change?
mean, like I said, they're 5-2. Well, if they lose to Falcons, no, there's not going to be a
Yeah.
roster change with this roster. No,
Yeah.
there's
I
not.
mean, I didn't think so, but
But I mean, they're definitely. Well, I wouldn't say definitely. We'll talk about the major here in a bit, but there is a chance that they could go out pretty early.
hmm yeah, actually, they can't lose to Falcons, well, unless Falcons win round one somehow.
Well,
Um,
no. The way the bracket works, I think I should have this right. Did I do it right? Did I mess up my bracket? I've got a bunch of stuff written down for the bracket because, I'm a bracketologist. I love this stuff. Yeah. If they lose to Ravens round 1, they play Falcons elimination round 1.
oh, okay.
I mentioned, yeah, that was my bad. Earlier I talked about Optic losing to Falcons. That's not happening.
Hmm.
Good. Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But there's a chance that they go out early. I mean, of course, Vegas is a free win. Yeah, I think if they get by the Ravens and actually show promise on Thursday, then they're looking good.
Yeah, they can pick up some steam. Yeah. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
that is all 12 teams reviewed leading into Major One. Um, Moving forward, we're going to just real. I think we should, yeah, keep this one pretty quick. Just like review overall, I guess. I don't know. Is there anything you want to talk about the qualifiers? I feel like we talked a lot about,
Yeah.
different matches and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think honestly, we've talked a lot about all of them. I think I'm gonna just pull up the standings, and then if I see something interesting, I'll point it out. So just give me a second.
Yeah. I mean, while you're doing that, I want to talk about at least some rising players that I'm looking at,
Mm-hmm.
players that I think are like really increasing their what do you call it? Their sellability, right? Um Number one, I think, is Kicks, right? If Kicks comes back and plays consistently how he was playing before, he's gonna lock in a spot somewhere. Now, Falcons aren't gonna play very well, but hopefully he can get on a better team. Uh, like I don't know. I think he could really be a really good player somewhere else. And already talked about 04. I think 04 is one of the players quickly rising up um, to really find a place somewhere. And I think it still could be Surge. I think Surge could be a team, um, but they have some building to do. And then my other player I want to talk about is Joe Deceives. I love Joe Deceives. I think last year, like you could literally see his progress throughout the year, and he's continued that. So he's yeah, and like there's some series he's playing, or some not series, but some games he'll go negative in, but then he immediately reverses it and like comes out shooting. So those are the three players I've been like seeing really perform well and step up.
Nice. Yeah, I'd agree. I was sorry. I was thinking while you were talking. I was thinking of things to talk about the qualifier, and um yeah, I think the only surprises that I have, like we mentioned them earlier, Carolina Royal Ravens, they are um top four going into this major tournament. Their seed is number four.
Hmm.
And that like I mentioned it earlier, so that's a surprise. I do want to bring up the format for the first two majors. I love it. I mean, 7 matches over 4 weeks, phenomenal. The first 2 weeks of the season, we had every team play 4 matches, and so it was like 4 match day both weekends. Um,
Hmm.
I love that. And then the minor tournament, please just keep doing that. I love seeing tournaments. Of course, maybe some tweaks with points and things, or
Yeah.
maybe throwing in like some sort of like maybe a play in or um, just some way, because these single elimination tournaments don't always show like true talent. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Or give us like more. Probably not more games. I don't know. I know you hate 7 game series, but like, man, I don't
I
know.
don't hate
That's
them.
something
They
they
just
could
take
try.
forever. I think no, I hate 7 game series for a grand finals. I don't like that.
Oh, for grand finals. I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. Okay. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about was just fastest falling players, and I think there's only two for me. It's Hydra and it's Sib. These two are supposed to be the best at on their team. Was I don't know. Could be called the best on their teams, and they are right now not performing at the level that they should be. Or you could also include every single person on Miami, because like I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. I Sib especially has like surprised me with like his play so far. We need to see more from him for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Okay,
All right.
well, we're wrapping up
Uh,
with our major predictions.
yes. Yes. We are going to butt some heads because, man, you know me. I'm into analytics. And, dude, I've got a whole formula sheet on like predictions and percent chance of winning and things like that. So pull up. I've got the Pick'em site on screen.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
And I think we'll just go down and discuss which what we're thinking for each match. So, first match on the week is actually this Boston Breach versus FaZe, but you want to just go straight down the line, or do you want to go based on time?
Let's do time. I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this match one, Boston Breach versus Atlanta FaZe. What do you think?
Um. So these two teams just played,
Yes.
and it was a 3-0, I believe. Right.
It was yes, 3-0.
Yeah. Um. So knowing that, knowing where FaZe is at right now, they're hot. Um. It's gonna be FaZe, right? They're definitely gonna win. I think Boston pulls a map from them though this time. I would go 3-1 because I'm man, I'm high on Boston. Honestly, I like Boston a lot, and I think they might run through the losers. We'll see. We'll see how what I look at the matchups.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go 3-1.
I
What
totally
do you?
agree with you. According to my calculations, nerd,
According to my
um,
calculations.
Atlanta FaZe has a 63% chance of winning and a 24 point or 25% chance that it's going to end 3-1 FaZe.
Okay. Also, are you? So your predictions are gonna be purely stats based.
Purely stats. I am doing
Okay.
a little bit of tweaking, or not
Oh,
tweaking.
okay.
This week I'm running an experiment because I've got basically a percentage for each score possibility and then a percentage for which team's most likely to win. However, on some teams, like for example, like on some teams, it might show Boston Breach has a higher probability of winning 3-2 than FaZe has a probability of 3-1, even though FaZe has an overall higher probability, if that makes sense.
Mm, no, it doesn't to
I
me at
know.
all. But whatever. I don't
I,
care
I
about
might
that.
be able to show something later on for an
Okay.
example.
We'll see. Real quick, have you been doing pick'ems every week?
I have not. Like I think I
Dang
did
it.
it week 2. Like yeah, you see right here, 33 points week 2.
And then nothing.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on,
I just
dude.
keep forgetting and this podcast and will help me keep up with that.
Remember. Okay. Well, I wanted to see how many points you had compared to me. I think that would be really fun.
That would.
But now we can't.
Mm.
Whatever. That's fine.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So match two is Surge
Is
versus Ultra.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you do your stats. Actually, no, your stats are boring. I'm gonna go first. Surge is surging, and Ultra just had a crushing defeat to Optic. So that being said, give me Toronto 3-1.
Toronto 3-1.
Yeah,
Um
I don't know. I like Surge, and man, I want to call some upsets. You know what? Never mind. Give me Surge 3-2. Give me game
Surge
5. Surge
3-2.
clutch. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could call an upset. That's fine. However, I've got a 60% chance that Toronto Ultra wins it, and they're going to win it 3-2. So
Okay.
you said 3-2 Vancouver. I say 3-2
Yeah.
Toronto. So
I'll be filling in my bracket. I mean, I can't show
okay.
anyone, but I'll also have it up, and
Okay.
we can compare after.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about it later on. At the end whenever we're wrapping it up. Okay. Next match is Optic Texas or sorry, I
Should
jumped
be
over.
Ravens.
Ravens versus Thieves.
I mean, this is obviously the match of the day when it comes to Thursday. Um, who will? I mean, both these teams are like started out flaming hot, and now they're kind of in a weird state of like, are they actually good? That's what I would ask about both these teams. I think on land, the I want to say like the proven winners, but both these teams have proven winners. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've seen Slasher and TJ perform,
Yeah.
but their wins are older. So I'm gonna give it to Thieves because I think like Scrap Envoy are going to lead this team at this major.
You've got
Yeah, because everyone's angry at Envoy for that 1v2 versus Kenny. I think there's good reasons for what he was doing, in that specific map. But overall, Envoy has been playing well. And I think he's like a rock for this team. Him and Ghosty are the rocks. So I'm gonna take Thieves. I'm gonna take. Do they win 2 hard points versus Carolina? Oh, I don't think they do. I'm gonna go 3-1 Thieves. I think it'll
3-1
be
Thieves.
I think it'll be Thieves, and then they lose the first S&D, win the control, lose the second hard point, and then win clutch up in the last S&D. Yep.
Okay. You got Thieves. You said 3. What was it? Sorry.
3-2.
3-2? Okay. I, unfortunately, based on current form and how the teams have been playing, I've got Carolina Ravens 3-2, sending Thieves down to elimination round 1.
Wow.
And it is close. It's not like
Yeah.
a 50-50. My calculations are 56-44 Carolina. And Carolina just has the highest chance. I mean, a 25% chance to win it on 3-2. That is high. I know you haven't seen like my sheets and stuff, but usually the percent chance is like 18 averaging, but 25% chance to win a map 5. And if it goes to map 5, you've seen Thieves choke in map 5 over and over. I think Carolina can pull it out.
Yep. I'm thinking Land proves this team out. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the Green Wall versus the rivals, Miami Heretics.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is with my head. 3-0.
3-0.
I do believe I just don't believe in Heretics at all. I don't even dislike. I mean, I guess I kind of dislike this team, but like they do have the coolest colors. I'll give them that. They have cool colors.
It's just the Miami Dolphins, but instead of a dolphin, it's an H.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's exactly correct. Yeah, I think Optic are gonna show up and show out here, and on day 1.
And you've got a 3-0.
3-0.
3-0? Wow.
Easy.
Okay.
Like it's gonna be a kind of a boring. Like after Ravens Thieves, I think that's gonna be an amazing match, and then you have just this stinker to close it out. That's what I'm thinking, which I'm okay with. 3-0 is fine with me.
Yeah, and yeah, overwhelming. I mean, this is a 66 or 67%. I've got Texas. However, I do think Miami can win. What are they going to win?
I think
they'll win the map 2.
Really?
They'll win the search.
No, they're terrible.
It also depends on. I mean, yeah, that's true. Hold on. What am I talking about? Let's see. What am I talking about?
They're like one of the worst search teams in the league, I think, right?
Yeah. Hold on. Where am I getting 3-1? There is somewhere. Trust me.
Miami is good at control, and Optic is shaky at best at control. I guess good is relative.
Yeah, I think they'll still steal a respawn.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
if they're not winning a hard point. I'm telling you that right now.
I'm gonna give them the control. I'm gonna give them the control just to do it.
You give it to them. It's not happening, but you give it to them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they go down 0-2, again, depending on the map,
it does depend on the map. That's true.
It is close. I think it'll be 48% chance that Miami could pull out map 3, but I have them winning. I mean, losing on the map 4. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, now let's jump down to elimination round 1. Starting at 7:30 a.m. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude,
Friday
they gotta wake me up early on a Friday. That's fine. Mike and I, we could watch some matches.
I mean, you don't need to wake up at 7:30 for this match, dude.
But I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm a glutton for punishment. All right, what do you got?
I mean, I have Ravens 3-0. If it was Thieves, I would have Thieves. I mean, maybe a 3-1. I could see Thieves being a 3-1, but yeah, I mean, All I have to say is if Thieves go down here and lose to Falcons, it's going to be wild. I cannot wait to see what Scrap says on Twitter if that happens. But that's not going to happen. So I have Ravens 3-0. I would have Thieves 3-1.
Okay. So you have Ravens, and we can afterwards, I guess we could compare. If you could, no, that's difficult. We could just post them on Twitter, and
Sure.
yeah, we'll just compare the two brackets. But yeah, so I've got Thieves. If it's Thieves down here, I've got Thieves 3-1.
Okay. Yeah. What map do you have taken? Just the S&D?
Search. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Okay.
Next match is 9:00. Vancouver versus Minnesota.
This is another again? Oh my gosh, that's
How many
crazy.
times have they played?
This would be the third time.
Oh my
right?
gosh, 3 times in a major.
Yeah. What do we do here?
Is this?
I believe in Rocker, bro. I'm going 3-2 Rocker.
You're going 3-2.
And Ultra is going to be out super early in because I have Ultra down here, and this is a wild thing to do.
All right.
But I really want Rocker to win, so I'm gonna put him there.
Okay. So this is where my predictions are. They're fighting each other. Here, I'll show you real quick. So right here, this is what I got: Minnesota and Seattle, where you see overall their path to victory is greater than Minnesota's path to victory. However, the highest the most likely probability I have over here is Minnesota 3-2. So,
yeah,
because you're going Minnesota 3-2, I'll take Minnesota 3-2.
Okay. So we both have Rucker moving on, just in wildly different situations.
Okay. Who's next? It's the 10:30 match. Miami Heretics versus the LA French Gorilla Mate Paris, whatever we want to call them.
Yeah. This is a weird one. I have no idea how to put these teams against each other. I might go with your stats on this one because honestly,
stats. Okay. Overall, it's basically a 50-50.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm dead serious. Like it's difficult. But in both, well, no, because it's once again differing. So do we want to go? Once again, I'll ask your input on this. I'll bring my stats over.
Okay.
It is. Where'd it go? Oh, it's not that. It's this. Yes, here. LAG has 50% chance. This just doesn't add up precisely to 100, so it's a little extra math right here. Has a 50%. Okay. However, Miami sucks at map 5. We're going to give it to LAG.
In map 5?
What do you think?
Okay, so map 2 goes to LAG. Okay, so it's either the only way Miami wins this is in a 3-1. Right? That to me. Because they're going to lose S&Ds.
Mm-hmm.
Or are they? LAG chokes S&Ds left and right, I feel like. Yeah, I don't know.
LAG is also their only win on the seasons versus the Falcons.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I actually think I'm going to go Heretics 3-1 here.
Heretics 3-1?
They're going to come out and shoot a little bit. They're going to be mad about that 3-0. And I don't know. I think Lagmates are going to blow up the roster, and I think this is what's going to send them over the edge. So,
let me see. Give me a second.
But like I also 3-2 Gorillas Mates is also like just as likely in my eyes.
Yeah, but you so who are you calling?
I'm saying Miami 3-1.
Miami 3-1. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead. But nah, I want to agree with my stats though, and unfortunately, my stats say they're actually going to win a game 5. So we'll say Miami wins. Miami? Yeah, Miami wins, but because I want to get that perfect score, which is like 6 points, right?
Well, not. I don't know. They don't have double. No. These aren't double, so it's 3.
Oh, but LAG. Let me look at their map 5 wins real quick. If they have any, which they don't. In map 5, they are 0-3. So,
dude, it's a race to the bottom here.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
next match. Sorry, we've got it chosen right there.
Breach and Cloud9.
Breach and Cloud9. Yes, sir. What do you got?
Pretty easy. Pretty easy pick for me. Breach 3-1 maybe for Cloud9. I'll give them 1. Sure.
You give him 1.
Toss in 1. Actually, no. Breach are game 5 merchants. I'm gonna say 3-2 Breach.
Yeah, that's what my stats are predicting. And
okay.
Oh wait, Cloud9. I'm looking at the wrong blue team. Give me a second. Yeah, I've got Boston at a 27% chance at winning in map 5.
Oh, I just realized there's another match on Friday. That's weird.
Yeah.
They do elimination. Huh.
Yeah, they do one. All right. Yeah, and that'll be the next match we look at. Miami versus LAT.
Minus Ravens, but
Oh, yeah.
Did LAT just play Miami or no?
Play Miami. Yes.
Who did they play?
And they went to map 5 where Thieves won 6-2.
Which Ravens also just played Miami and also went to map 5. So like, dude, Ravens and Thieves are like definitely on the exact same scale, like level. You know, their match is so even to me right now. So I think Ravens are going to step up a bit more on land and take them. Actually, I'm gonna go with Ravens 3-0. I don't like. I think Ravens are going to perform better on land, even though I took LAT to beat them round 1.
See, you've got Ravens 3-0. Let me look. I'm just curious what my stats say. Ravens versus Miami. Yeah, I could see that. I'd probably give a map 5 for Carolina though.
Mm-hmm. What did you put for Thieves?
For Thieves versus Miami, I've got Thieves 3-2 again.
Okay. Run it back.
Yeah, let me see. How close was this one? Oh my gosh. Okay, listen to this. As of right now, based on like form and things, LA Thieves only have a 53% chance of winning. And if it goes to map 5, I've got Thieves with a 22% chance of winning it in map 5 and Miami with a 21% chance map 5. So this is where my questions are going to be asked. If it's Thieves versus Miami right here, Thieves could be going home. Like, it's a very real possibility.
Yeah. I don't see that happening. I don't like. I just think Thieves and Ravens are both going to show up on land. Could be dead wrong. Maybe Thieves are just a dud team. Maybe the super team is not super. You know. And this is where it's going to have to be proven. Actually, round 2. You know, are they going to win a game against a team they definitely should beat?
Yeah.
So I have them winning it. I think they're going to.
Okay. Yeah. And then Saturday matches: Minnesota Rucker and Boston Breach.
Mm-hmm. This is like the perfect matchup here. I love that they are going to meet. I'm calling it right now. They're going to meet each other, and man, it's definitely game 5, like 100%, right? Yeah, I gotta give it to Breach game 5. Like,
Breach game 5.
Yeah, they're playing. So the SMGs are just shooting right now. Like, I take Snoopy over Estriel, and I take Estriel over Purge, and then I take Purge over who's the other SMG on? Paul X, right? He's an SMG.
I think he's an
Right?
AR.
No, he's an AR. Who's the other SMG?
On
Geo.
Rucker.
Nero.
Yeah.
No, it's Nero.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nero. Yeah, I take Purge over Nero. So like, that to me is gonna decide game 5. So
I've got
Yeah, what do you got?
I think a game 5 is a definite possibility. I am going to give it to Boston. However, the chance of it ending on map 4 is literally like 2% higher than map 5.
Oh, okay.
So I got to go with my stats here and see how it's
Okay.
going to work out.
But I will say though, if Minnesota loses the first 2 games, they take it map 5. They reverse
Oh
sweep.
yeah, they're reverse sweep merchants. I'm actually curious.
So,
Let me see when I've actually got that stat pulled up. Let me see. When they go down 0-2, Minnesota's been down 0-2 3 times before, and they have won 2 times. Both of them were in the major. So,
the minor, you mean?
yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Only one team has one more reverse sweep than them. You want to take a guess?
One more reverse sweep.
Yes.
One more reverse sweep. I know Carolina has one. I can't think of any other team that's been down like that. Could be Breach.
Actually, you got me second guessing.
I don't know. Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina's actually got
Boom.
1, 2.
On the season?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I might
Dang.
have messed up something.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Oh. Okay.
Never mind. Yeah, so they're 2-0.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that brings us back to winners round 2.
Wow.
We got Optic versus Texas or Optic versus Royal Ravens first.
Yeah. Well, I have Thieves. If it's Thieves on land. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call the upset here.
If it's Thieves.
And I'm actually gonna give it to Thieves 3-2 against Optic.
Oof.
Yep.
You got Thieves having an amazing weekend, don't you?
I know. I'm trusting their land, bro. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think if it's Thieves, go ahead.
I was gonna say if it's Ravens, I'm gonna give it Optic 3-1. I think they are just better than Ravens right now. Thieves, I think they're better than them, but like talent wise, they're like actually I would say talent wise, Thieves are probably better. I don't know. They're pretty equal actually in talent.
So would it surprise you that Carolina or the more favorable matchup for Texas, right, or for Optic right now is the Thieves?
I mean, stats wise, no, it wouldn't really surprise me.
Yeah.
But okay. What do you have it at?
If it's a Thieves Optic, I've got Optic 3-1. But if it's a what I'm calling Optic versus Ravens, then I've got Optic 3-1.
Okay, so it's both the same, but like maybe they're closer or whatever in the stats. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think right now it's just if Optic loses one of the first 2, like I think what is Optic's hardpoint map 2 like map 4 record? What's their map 4 record right now?
Map 4 record up there. Optic on map 4 are 5-3.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I would have thought it was higher than that. Like to me, they're like that's when they're at their best. But I don't know. I guess
they've lost to Breach once, and then who else did they lose to? Did they lose to Breach twice? Who did they lose to? Oh, Carolina. Yeah.
They lost. In the minor. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Breach doesn't count to me because that was with Brett on the team. That's just a different.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. Okay. Well, that's only 2. What's the third one?
Their third map 4. I am looking.
I mean, if you can't pull it up, it's okay.
Let me see.
I'm now interested.
Gorillas.
Okay. Whatever.
Gorillas took a map 4 off of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. I mean, that was Hook's first week in the team, I think.
That was his second match, though.
Yeah. whatever, dude. I think Optic on map 4 win whoever they play against.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now. So,
Mhm.
but anyways, yeah, I got Thieves taking it, and I think I'll just let you know now. I have Optic running elimination.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, okay,
Okay.
and then
Winners round 2. Next match: Toronto versus Atlanta. Got the Ultra versus
yeah,
FaZe, and that's what you have in your bracket as well.
nope, I have Surge. I called the Surge upset as well.
Oh yeah.
So I have Atlanta 3-0.
Atlanta versus Surge 3-0. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's doable. Um,
Yeah.
I would hope that FaZe's control looks a little bit better going into it, but yeah, that's very foreseeable. In
Okay.
your
What do you have
matchup,
Toronto?
in your matchup, I got FaZe having a 65% chance of winning. Versus Toronto,
Yeah.
it's only a 55% chance, and I've got FaZe 3-1.
Okay.
So in my upper bracket right now, I've only got 2 really good games. It's
Yeah.
in the
I
lower
think that
bracket where things, I mean, we're calling 1, 2, 3, 4 map 5s so far, with more to come.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Or-
we'll see what good games are. I don't know. I determine. Yeah. I like every game. I like watching
Yeah,
all of them.
yeah, and good games can be like there was a 1-3-0 Toronto played in Vanguard where literally the overall point differential was like 4 points. And that's cuz
Dang.
like Toronto won the hard point 250 248, the search and
Oh
destroy
yeah.
6-5, and then the control 3-2. So
Mm,
that's a really good 3-0.
yeah. So at 12 on elimination round 3, what's your matchup?
I've got Boston Breach and Carolina.
Okay. Carolina. Got it.
And who do you
I
have?
have Boston versus Optic.
Boston versus Optic.
And this is 3 hours after they just lost to Thieves in my bracket.
Yeah, that's a quick regain.
And I think that's like this to me. If this is what happens, this is where Hook's best match right here, Optic versus Breach, would be. I think Hook would drop like an insane thing here. This is when I would want him to clutch up here. So that's what I'm gonna guess that. I'm gonna say Optic 3-1.
3-1. Let's see. Yep, that would line up with my my nerd stuff as well. But
Does Hook 2.0 in that series
a 2.0,
line up with
you're
your nerd
calling a
stuff?
2.0 for
I'm
Hook?
calling, dude. He's dropped a 2.0 already in one series, I think, or at least Hardpoint. Maybe it was just one
Yeah,
game,
in a
but
map.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. But you're calling
No,
it on the
I'm calling it the
series?
series. Yeah.
Golly. Okay,
Yeah,
I doubt it, but okay.
man.
And this is actually a really close matchup, Carolina and Boston right now. I have
Yeah.
Boston with a 51% chance of winning it.
Wow.
However, I'm gonna give it to Carolina because if they push it to map 5, I got Carolina. I trust them more.
Okay.
Carolina's got a 22% chance or 23% chance of winning it 3-2 versus Boston's 20% chance of winning it 3-1.
Gotcha. Okay.
Next matchup. Who's this matchup? This is Toronto versus Optic, or who is this?
Wait. Huh?
You're you're elimination round 3.
No, this is Surge versus Ravens.
Surge. Oh my gosh. All right, what are you calling?
um, Does Surge keep surging? That's my question. I don't know. Who do you have Optic in Toronto here?
I've got Toronto and Thieves.
Oh, okay. Toronto and Thieves. Gotcha. That'll be a good match if that's what happens. Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, I would say Ravens 3, 3, 1, 3, 3, 2. Who did Surge beat? Yeah, I'll go 3-2 Ravens.
3-2
Whatever.
Ravens. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that lines up with my if that's the matchup, that would be my prediction right there.
Okay. So
Um,
you have Toronto versus Thieves.
Toronto
Okay.
versus
I first of
Thieves.
all love that matchup. I think that's a
Yeah.
great matchup.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's always a great match to watch. And for it, I've got, unfortunately, Toronto. I got
Wow.
Toronto
Thieves
going
done.
3-2. And it's kind of shocking because, I mean, like, it is kind of close. I mean, Toronto's sitting at a 59% chance of winning. However, Toronto's chance of winning in each category, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, is greater than Thieves winning those categories. So
Hmm.
overall, I think as of right now, Toronto's got it won 3-2.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think S&D map 5, like Toronto has the clutch gene, whereas Thieves obviously don't yet.
Yeah.
Best of what we've seen with Optic.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I could definitely see that happening for sure. Yeah. I mean, as of right now, your bracket is definitely more likely to be correct. Mine is just more fun,
Fun.
I
Yeah.
think. Okay,
All right.
so
Your
real quick,
elimination final. Or go ahead.
my
What were you going to
elimination,
say?
no, elimination round 4,
Oh, yeah, yeah, my
right?
bad. Yeah, yeah. This is round 4.
Okay. My elimination round 4 is Optic versus Ravens.
Optic versus
So this is
Ravens.
minor minor 1 revenge
Oh,
for
yeah, yeah.
Optic. And I do believe they will get the revenge in a 3-2.
3-2. Okay. Yeah, I can see it. If that's the matchup, my pick would be 3-1.
Mm,
Texas.
yeah.
Yeah, Optic. Yeah.
Yeah, let me think about that actually. Uh, yeah, I'm still gonna go 3-2. Actually, they win both hard point. No, I think yeah, I'm gonna say 3-2. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stay there.
Okay.
Okay, what's your elimination round for?
My elimination round 4 is Toronto Ultra versus Carolina Royal Ravens.
Okay.
And I've got Carolina. No. Toronto. Yeah. I've got Toronto winning 3-1.
Mm,
However, if it goes to game 5, Carolina's going to take it.
okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
You got any thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I just like I think I'm letting the match against Optic cloud my judgment when it comes to Toronto. Like they really just did not look good.
Mm,
Which maybe that could just be Optic, like seeing how good they are. But
yeah.
I don't know. They just poked holes that I didn't know Toronto had up until this past weekend. So I don't trust them, I guess, and that's why I have them bowing out elimination round 1.
Okay.
So that's probably not going to happen, but whatever.
Yeah.
I want Minnesota to win.
Mm, okay. And that brings us to
Okay.
our winners finals. And you have
Mm. FaZe versus Thieves.
FaZe versus Thieves. And
And
what do
this
you
is a really fun one. This is where Thieves crack under the pressure. 3-1 FaZe. Pretty easy for me.
3-1 FaZe? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's going to be hardpoint S&D FaZe up 2-0, and Thieves are like, okay, we're going to win. And then FaZe drop the control just because, and then they absolutely crushed them map 4. Like
Dang.
map 4 could be a 100-point club, I could see
Dang.
here.
Wow. I mean, that's close to what they had in the minor. It was a 3-1, that same kind of victory.
Mm.
But it was a close map 4. It was 250, 198.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't call that close. Like that's that's like
That's like
winning.
52 points. That's a hill. They're within a hill.
Yeah, I guess within a 60 hold, but on Skyline, right? It was Skyline.
Six Island.
Pretty sure it was Skyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I'd agree in that matchup 3-1 FaZe. And in this one, mine, Optic Texas versus Atlanta FaZe.
Mm-hmm. Who do you have?
All right, I'm literally going based on my stats sheets, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Here's the probability overall for the match.
All right.
I've got Atlanta FaZe favored
Okay.
50.18%. However,
That's
so it
crazy.
is real close. But I think if Optic wins this, it would have to be either a 3-0 or a 3-1.
Mm.
I have
You don't
FaZe.
think Austin could win this S&D round 5?
No, I don't.
Dang.
I've got FaZe 3-2,
Okay. Interesting.
which puts
And is that
FaZe in
does
the
your
grand finals. And what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, does your stats like say that FaZe has the higher chance on map 5
Yeah,
to
yeah.
win?
Like
Okay.
FaZe has a 21% chance, and Texas has a 18%.
Okay. All right. All right. So
Think
you have FaZe in the grand finals. I have FaZe in the grand finals. And
and
then what's your
elimination
elimination
finals. My elimination final is Optic versus Toronto.
final? We know how that's gonna go.
Yep.
That's yeah. I mean, we just saw it. Optic pooped on them. So I honestly,
And
yeah, at this point, I would call it a 3-0 Optic,
3-0?
maybe even against Toronto.
Very possible. Unfortunately, 3-0s are just few and far between right
Yeah,
now.
it's true.
Let's see.
That's very true. Yeah, forgot
Yeah,
about this league.
of the 26 matches that have gone like where teams have gone up 2-0, only 9 of them have ended in 3-0. So that's
Dang.
a 34% chance.
Yeah.
But in my
So you
matchup,
have
I've got Optic winning 3-1.
okay. In my matchup, I've got Optic versus Thieves. Now, giving it to Optic, and I think what was the map? It was Optic won map 1, and then Thieves won map 2 and 3, and then Optic map 1's map 4 and 5 when they played. Is that how it went?
Let's see. Optic won 1, 4, and 5. Yeah.
1, 4, and 5. Okay. So I'm gonna call basically they swap maps 2 and 4. So like I think Thieves like map 1 goes to Optic again. Map 2 goes to Optic. And then Thieves are like, we're coming back. Map 3 and 4, we're gonna win. But then they choke hard. And I'm gonna actually call like 6-2 on that final
Wow.
S&D.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna try, but Scrap it's gonna be Hacienda and Scrap's gonna poop his pants.
You trust Optic's search?
Yeah, I trust Optic, bro. Optic Search is not bad this season.
Oh yeah,
It's
right.
fine.
I'm thinking of the control. My bad. That's on me. That's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
me.
Control, no. I'm giving Thieves the control. Yeah. So I just don't see. Yeah, I don't see them winning. So Thieves finally are taken out in the elimination finals, and then we have the same grand finals, right?
Yeah. FaZe
Mm.
versus Optic.
Yep.
Okay. Let's hear your reasoning. I want to hear your thought process and your score.
Okay. The number one thing here is uh just time difference. Optic are hot. They're coming off the win. They're not even gonna leave their seats, bro. I mean, they are, but it's gonna be as if they didn't leave their seats. Optic come out and they win Major 1 4-1. They slam
4-1. Oh
FaZe. Yep.
wow.
Here I'll just tell you this. I don't think this grand finals is close either way. I think whatever team, one of the teams is going to get slammed. All right. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but that's what I think. And I'm an Optic fan, so I'm gonna say Optic slams FaZe in the finals, and it is a finals. It isn't like goes down in Optic history as like they don't beat FaZe, So I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say Optic come out and poop on them in grand finals.
Okay. All right.
And also I will say if it's Optic and FaZe in winners finals, I actually have FaZe winning 3-1 or 3-0. Like I think FaZe win winners finals no matter what, but then Optic regains in grand finals.
Okay. All right. So my thought process is in a best of 7, Mainly because I don't have the data on how momentum affects best of 7 series, just because there's only been
Mhm.
a couple of years on it, and there's just so many different possibilities. But
Yeah.
so my thought process going into picking my winner is map pool,
Mm.
strictly map pool. And when
Okay.
I'm looking at FaZe coming from the winners finals, they have the veto advantage.
Do
So
they? Are you sure?
yes, if
Because
they
I
come winners finals,
I
you get
heard. Hold on. Let me look this up. CDO major one. What is it? Veto advantage. Because when I was listening to oh no, it says the winners bracket team. Okay, that doesn't. Huh. I thought it was like seeding. You get veto advantage, but whatever.
no,
Never mind.
yeah, it's winners finals. Mainly
Okay.
because the reason for that is if you come from the winners bracket, then you still haven't lost, but the loser
Yeah.
bracket has lost, so they have to have an
No,
advantage
that
somehow.
makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
So because of that, thinking about hard points, FaZe is not going to play Vault. They're not going to play Vault versus Optic. Optic's 5-0 versus on Vault. FaZe is 1-2.
Okay.
And
So they
Optic,
veto vault.
yeah,
How does
Optic's
vetoes work in best of 7? By the way, they
um
veto different
everybody
times
still
or
choose two. I think it's the same order. Um, I think I'm not too sure, but just looking, I don't know.
hmm.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Okay. But yeah, so Optic is 5-0 on Vault. FaZe is 1-2 on Vault. FaZe is going to veto that.
Hmm.
Optic is 0-3 on Red Card. FaZe is 3-1, and they've had dominant wins on Red Card.
So they're optic vetoes red card, which is
Yeah.
what I would assume they would
Mm-hmm.
veto.
Which leaves Protocol, Skyline, and Hacienda.
Mm.
Of those, they're basically pretty even. FaZe is 5-1, with an average point differential of 50 on Protocol. Optics 3-0 with a almost 100 point margin of victory on
Mm.
Protocol.
They've played worse teams though in protocol. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then Skyline, Optics 4-1, FaZe is 3-1. Optic does have the better average differential. Um,
Hmm.
and then what was the other one? Hacienda. They're both 1-1. Optic once again has the better average differential, but as you said, so I think they would split hard points since there's only two. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give Optic map 1,
Mm.
but
Okay.
FaZe is definitely gonna win map 4.
Well, how many? There's 3 hard points though.
2.
In in a best of 7, there's only 2.
Yeah, because it goes hard point search control, hard point search control search.
Wait, there's I didn't know there was 2 controls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that
Unfortunately.
sucks.
Now map
So,
vetoes then turn to S&D,
okay.
in which, um, let's see. Honestly, they match up pretty even.
Yeah, I think they're pretty.
I
I mean,
think,
based off just feeling.
yeah, if anything, FaZe would probably get rid of Hacienda because they're own one.
Mhm.
And that means 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that means that Optic will probably veto.
Hold on, let me guess what they would veto. I mean, I'm just gonna guess they would veto Vault because Vault S&D is not very good, and I feel like FaZe are pretty good at Vault S&D.
They might. I mean, they're both two. They both have a 50%.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Protocol S&D. I've seen FaZe just run through people in that too, so maybe that's the veto. I don't know.
But Optic also is good on protocol. Like they have the same record. So
Yeah.
I think they probably head smash on that. Just have both of their best ones, which leaves Skyline, which Optic hasn't played a Skyline search. So
Okay, so
so they
then they
might actually
probably
veto. Yeah, that
yeah,
leaving Vault. Um, so I think
and which I like Red Card S&D for Optic.
so. I think they would again split the searches.
Mm, the first
So
2.
first two, yeah, I'm gonna leave the third one as a spoiler.
Okay.
Or, and I will say who. wins it if it gets there.
Yeah.
And then comes control.
Both of our team's worst
Yes.
worst category, which is funny.
However, Optic only has 3 total reps on anything besides Vault. FaZe has 4.
Okay.
So FaZe is probably going to get rid of Vault because they're 2-5 on it. Optic's 5-2, which then leaves Protocol, which means that Optic does get to choose map the first, which would probably be Hacienda, which Optic's 1-1, but FaZe is 1-0, and FaZe's differential on that was 2, and Optic's Hacienda, I think, who'd they lose that to? We talked about it earlier. Thieves 3-1. Yeah. So I'm going to have to give FaZe the first control, which then leaves, since they've split everything else, they go to that next control, which will be Protocol. And FaZe is dominant on Protocol. So I'm going to give it FaZe 4-2.
Dominant.
I mean dominant. Like, they have an average differential of 1.67. They played it 3 times, unfortunately. Only 3 times. But of those 3 times,
control that's not Vault is actually a lot.
Yeah. Let me see who they've played against. But yeah, just looking at the vetoes, the veto process, they 3-0'd Breach on Protocol. They 3-0'd Rocker on Protocol. And then they lost to Thieves 3-2. So they've actually had competition on Protocol. They've had more reps. So I see FaZe winning it 4-2.
Okay. I mean, I think everything you said sounds exactly correct except for the first control. The first control will be Hacienda.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing you're not taking into account is Dashy on Hacienda. They've only got to play it twice. That's because everyone else keeps banning it and taking it away from them. That's why they keep playing Vault. But Dashy is Hacienda King. So I think right there, flip that. And it goes game 7.
But do you know who they played Hacienda control on?
Yeah, they played Thieves.
And
they lost 3-1.
Yeah, and then they played somebody else.
That's the thing. Oh, they played someone else?
Yeah.
And they won it.
Yeah, but the Falcons took them to round 5 on Hacienda.
Okay, that's fine. That's because Optic hasn't been playing very good control, but they're going to lock in and they're going to figure it out.
Okay, we'll see.
Dashy's going to fry on that control, and it goes game 7, and it's a game 7 of the ages. Have we ever had like a game 7, like in a best of 7 series?
No, I'm pretty sure it's always ended on that control.
Okay, it's just stupid. It's not. There should be one control and then double hardpoint or even double S&D. I would take that. I don't even care.
So just to reiterate, I've got FaZe winning 4-2, and you've got Optic winning 4-1, right?
Yeah, I think and I think that makes sense for Optic, right? They win S&D and hardpoint. They lose the control. They win S&D and hardpoint. That's to me the most likely path of victory for Optic.
FaZe has lost that in that style before 4-1. I think that was to Toronto last year. In that major one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, and then like I think FaZe could 4-0 like I don't think Optic 4-0 FaZe, but FaZe could 4-0 Optic. It could happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got. Hunter, do you have any socials or anything you want to plug?
No, I guess I could work on those.
Okay, yeah. Do that. Just because I do want to compare our brackets. We could do that next week. For next week's episode, we'll compare brackets, and then we have some more plans and things coming into play. Yeah. Do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Well, just that this is going to be really cool, and hopefully we can get some feedback on some future videos that we should do, or I don't know, things we should change and whatnot. Make it as best as it could possibly be. So look forward to hearing some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know me, I'm in the AM. You can find me at twitch.tv/in-the-am gaming _gaming. Same YouTube in the AM _gaming. But yeah, and I'm also on X or Twitter or whatever you call it. same thing in the AM. And I will post my my bracket here soon. But thank you all for tuning in, you beautiful one viewer, you beautiful chat bot. But we will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good one.